All right, so we'll jump in for today. Thank you everybody for joining us for the Sessions Workshop Wednesday. Today we'll be going over modernizing layouts for the new user experience. So I think everybody noticed over the last couple of weeks that maybe the website layout has changed a smidge. So that's going to be some of our focus today. Just some house cleaning that we have before every session. Welcome to these Workshop Wednesdays. Brian and I are always excited to share this content with you, and today we get to have a guest along with us. These sessions will be recorded and we will share and post these on our YouTube channel for future reference. Anybody that's registered or that did sign up for the meeting will also get an email notification about the recordings of the sessions. It may be a few days before that gets sent out just due to rendering and some details that need to be added before we get that out, but do know that within the next few days, you should see the email notification of the recording. We will also be monitoring the chats for any questions that y'all have, so please feel free to ask away, and Brian and I will jump in and interject as we see fit and can to add in the questions y'all have. And then last but not least, on the housekeeping slide, please give us your feedback. We have the QR code on here, so please scan that code. We'll also provide it to you at the end of the slide deck, but your feedback on these Workshop Wednesdays is what helps us drive what should be in the content. So Brian also dropped that in the chat for your reference as well, if you'd rather click the link instead of the QR code. So your main, I guess, MCs for this event, you know me, I'm Kristen Sonderman, and my other co-partner in client success is Brian Hall on the call as well. If you guys ever need to contact us or get a hold of us, our contact information is on this slide, as well as the CS mailbox. You can always send content there, questions there, and either one of us may get back to you depending on who's the quickest. We also have our support team information on this slide for communication with us. You can always reach out to the support team for troubleshooting and immediate assistance that you may have. Their email address and phone number is on this deck. Just remember that they are available Monday through Friday, 7 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. We also, friendly reminder, have our user conference booked, ready, and scheduled for November 3rd through 5th in Glendale, Arizona. We have a QR code on this slide for anybody that is interested in attending. I think Brian and I really would like to encourage you to join us as we're talking about the content and what we're going to be covering. There's just so much information that we have this year to go over. It's really exciting. And then I say this every time, but my favorite part is just getting to meet with you all and have that interaction and talk with other like-minded fleet managers. So please register, click on the link, register. We've got a couple helpful things in there. One, we have early bird registration that's going on right now through until the end of August. And then we also have, for those of you that need to provide justification to leadership about why the conference would be good for you, that is also available on our website as well. So just some helpful hints there. So as we segue into our content, we're talking about workshop one, or with the command user conference, we're talking about all the fun content that we get to discuss there. One of the things is the new user interface and some of the changes that we're making. I think there's a lot of really cool things that are going on with AI right now. We would really like your input, and we've got a poll that Brian put out there, or is putting out there. We have a poll that we'd like you to fill out. We understand that some of you guys don't have access to the poll, so if that doesn't pop up because of your version of Teams, you can also drop your responses in the chat for us. But the question is, which AI tools do you currently use for business or work-related tasks? The options that we have available for you are Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, Google Gemini, other, if you're more sophisticated and use a whole bunch of them, none. And then the last option that we have is my organization does not allow AI to be used. So please pick all that apply to you and share that with us. And we're going to leave that poll open for just a little bit so that we can see what the results look like. Again, if you aren't able to access the poll, go ahead and drop it in the in the notice. In the chat, I mean.
All right, just give it just another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll close that down.
Do I get to vote?
Sure, I voted.
Sure.
Well, I'm voting right now then.
All right, we'll shut it down now. Thanks for your response, everybody.
Yeah, it looks like we've got kind of from the results that were coming in, it looks like there was kind of a tie between Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT for the most frequently used.
AI tools.
Yeah. And we've got a couple people that have added in the chat too. Looks like it's kind of the same. Copilot, not allowed, ChatGPT and Claude, and Copilot. Right. So with that being said, the poll was closed. We showed the results. Thank you for letting us know where you guys are within your institution. That gives us an idea of what you guys are able to work with and do as we go into the content for today. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John Rudeschild. He's going to be our presenter today for the content that we get to go over.
Thank you very much, Kristen and Brian.
You're welcome, John.
And thank you, everyone, for being here today, and also for those of you that have participated in the poll. AI is something that is exciting, scary, and for the most part, new to most all of us. We at Agile just really started leveraging AI within the last year and a few months on that. So I've had to learn a lot about AI, and some of it is really fascinating. Some of it's very frustrating. But today, what we want to do is we want to share some of the positives in regards to AI as it applies to what you can do to kind of merge it. Use it to help better your site. And when I mean that, it's not that we're engaging AI within your site itself, but rather because of the new changes to the user interface and the experience, there's some new refreshing that really needs to happen in regards to the sites, because things may look stale, things may not look right, depending upon the codes that reside back in the hidden portions of Fleet Commander that you do have access to, that control your content when it comes to your welcome page, when it comes to your information links, things like that. And again, a lot of us, we're not really savvy when it comes to techie type of things, and code writing is definitely not something that I was really familiar with at all. But with AI, what we've discovered is that you can take some basic codes that tell what Fleet Commander should look like for your custom areas, and tell it to update that information so that it flows properly, regardless if you're using this on your laptop or if you're using it on a smart device and on that. So today, what we're going to be looking at is in regards to that modernizing the layouts for the new user experience. As I get started, I want to do a small little opener for my portion here. And if you will, there's 3 cars that are going to pop up here on the screen here. And I want you, when you see those cars pop up, I want you to place your cursor on each of them and then follow from their position, which I'll give you a hint. They're going to be up at the top of the screen as they make their way to the parking lot. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's the first one. You got this car, it's traveling from the top, it's making its way over to its parking spot there, and now it's at its destination. Next one, you got this green one up here. Follow it along, if you will, kind of like this right here. It's pretty quick, it's getting over there. And then you got your third one that's up here, and as you follow the cursor on that, it's got a little bit ways to go. And as it goes, it drops right over there. So that's kind of our opener in regards to just kind of there's there's a purpose for this, and we'll if you maybe you're bright and you figured it out, but there is just a little thing I wanted to start off with there. But ultimately, Kristen said it earlier, but have you noticed a few changes when it comes to Fleet Commander? I would say you would. I did, however, have a new client who I'm onboarding that they hadn't actually been in the system for about 2.5 weeks. And when I asked them, "Had you seen the new changes to the site?" They were like, "I've been on vacation. What are you talking about?" And they hadn't even logged in. There are definitely some changes when it comes to Fleet Commander. The changes to the user interface, that experience, basically boils down to two main changes that are what the most visible in regards to it. There is a change in regards to the navigation. The navigation for Fleet Commander has moved from the very top down to over to the left. Very much like in our parking lot situation here, we've moved the parking lot for Fleet Commander. So that's something that's going to have to take a little bit of getting used to, and we understand that. I have been over the last several days just going through and getting used to doing this. I've wanted to go in and I'm so used to going to the dashboard with the button up here. I've now got to go over here to click on it. In regards to signing out, you have to come down here. There is changes, but this actually is a modernization of Fleet Commander so that it can be used on smart devices, which is something that we have heard time and time again from our clients over the years. I wish Fleet Commander was more easier to use on my mobile phone, and that's where we're at now. And so with that change, we are allowing to be able to moving that navigation allows that to reside there. Really, the biggest change on that navigation change is really on the app is the admin usage. The end user, you may always remember, it was always on the left, and when you moved from the welcome page into the admin side, that's when the navigation popped up to the top. So yeah, there's your change, a change of navigation. The other thing that's changed is in regards to the palette. The colors are different now. The style, the look to it. When you look at Fleet Commander, you've got the awesome shades of blue and grays, and these are again a step towards a modern look of Fleet Commander, and we're really excited about that. And with those changes to the navigation, the changes to the palette. I do know it's difficult at first. It feels kind of uncomfortable, kind of feels kind of weird. Kristen actually stated it to me. She says it's like trying to brush your teeth left-handed. It's like learning that, or as she corrected me later, using your non-dominant hand on there. So that can make you sometimes a little bit frustrated, not really happy about that. But we're hoping the more that you use Fleet Commander, you're going to end up seeing that is something that it's useful and exciting on that. So today, what we're going to be looking at, some of the things we're going to consider, and if any of these particularly interest you, go ahead and drop that in the chat. We're going to talk about common problems that needs to be fixed within Fleet Commander that are particularly prominent now because of the change with the UI and the UX. We're going to look at common places to update those particular problems. It's going to involve getting into the enterprise configuration, getting into the site configurations. We're going to talk about give you some tips on using AI. And for those of you that can use AI to help you customize or correct the codes that are present what your Fleet Commander site looks like for the custom areas. I'm going to do a live demo for this too. We're not just going to rely upon slides here. And also got some interesting things to help you in your project, including a punch list of action items for you to do. That's going to be part of this deck that you're going to be able to have access to. But even more importantly, on SC Drive, we have layouts for new modern page templates that if you decide what you see there, you don't like it any longer, and you want kind of a new, fresh look that is uniformed, we have that for you to be able to take and to place within the appropriate places within Fleet Commander. So let's get into this at 2:16 Eastern Time. Common problems to fix. One of the biggest things and one of the most important things you need to be aware of is non-responsive or broken images. What has happened with this change is that we're noticing that there are images that just don't render properly. They're non-responsive is the technical term for that. So depending upon how you view Fleet Commander or what device you're using, something that looks perfectly fine on one device looks like just horrible on another device. And particularly, you can tell with this particular client of mine that graciously allowed me to go ahead and use their site, and the issue that we actually dealt with just 2 days ago is that even though that awesome banner that they had on their welcome page includes a picture of the cars and all, when you go to a smart device, it's off to the right, and you have to actually scroll and flip through there to look at those images that are beyond what is on the screen. Now, obviously, there's the scrolling up and down that's intended, but really on a smart device, you want to minimize how much you are scrolling to the left and to the right. Taking your code and dropping it into something like AI like Claude or ChatGPT or Copilot, and telling it that it needs to be responsive, that code, and have it rewrite it, will actually allow you to have that ability for it to return that code. You then put that code back in to Fleet Commander, and it allows you to look properly. So yeah, this particular one, it looks great on the desktop, on your laptop, but that first portion, you're missing part of the images, and even as you scroll down further to the bottom, that ends up being kind of skewed on that. But when I ran that code through AI, that's actually what I got, which is what you're seeing here. So there is hope for this, and it's actually, when you get into it and follow the steps, it's a very, very easy process to use that type of technology to write those codes. The other thing along with that I wanted to throw out there is kind of a techie trick of the day that I learned as part of preparing for this session, and it's what's called developer mode. I'll show this during the live demo, but the developer mode actually allows you to, when you hold down Control Shift and an I, it allows you to go into this mode where you can scale the image or the page for various devices and various pixel sizes, dimensions on that. It's amazing how easy that is to use, and I'll show that during the live demo on there. But that's a developer mode, and make sure that you have that little trick in your back pocket when you start working with this special code. The other thing that we want to make sure that we stress needs to occur is that any of those old links that are within Fleet Commander that still continue to point to what we call a .asp coding needs to be replaced on that. We just yesterday I ended up helping a client of mine that said that when they clicked to make a reservation, it would show that they were signing out. And we went in, we looked at the normal suspects in regards to under vehicle use and make reservation, or under manage make reservation, and it was working fine. But then when we went to their information instructions page, we started realizing that these links that were in here never were updated on that. And you can see that whenever you just hover over those links, that ultimately it will tell you there at the bottom that it is the code is a .asp. What we're looking for is a .net, or ultimately actually a removal where there says it does not say ASP any longer. because what ends up happening, as I mentioned, that they were experiencing, they were getting that login screen. So these things absolutely need to be fixed within your site if they hadn't been done already. This is an item, like I said, it can be found throughout a page and throughout your site. And it is something that a year ago, almost to the day, that when we had the 513 layouts, everything you need to know, this was something that we did specifically talk about on that day. And that was, and so what we want to do is, if you go back and review those videos, Workshop Wednesday videos, all of them are posted to our YouTube channel, and there's information on that in this deck on accessing those videos. But yes, that's definitely something that needs to happen as part of kind of you cleaning up your site. And it may be that you go in and you change each of the individual links, as was is illustrated here from that deck from that workshop, from that particular Workshop Wednesday a year ago. You might do that, and just, or you can take the easy route and use one of the modern templates that we have and just throw that in for the instructions page instead, and where all those are already updated for you. More on that to come. Another item that you might run into as you're going through this is that you might find non-functioning anchors, where you would go to click on, like with the cancel with the policies page, you may have these anchors there, and when you click on them, they don't show up, don't allow you to scroll up to the top. That is another item that a year ago that we did discuss that was going to need to happen, and that going to need to happen a year ago was because we were mindful of where we're at now. Everything that we were just was building up towards this new interface and this new experience. So again, important things to be mindful of as you are going through your site and you start seeing things that are broken, not going where they should go to. Whenever you look on your smartphone and it ends up looking weird. These are the problems, the common problems that you may be facing. Common places to update these particular issues and problems. Well, the login page is one. Within the login page, if you're using the native login and not using your special authentication like OAuth or SAML or anything like that, but if you're using our native login, it may be that you put in a lot of information there that right now is just simply not rendering well. If it looks weird, that would be a place for you to go and within Fleet Commander and under the enterprise settings and get that updated. There also the welcome page itself, as we illustrated already in regards to the client whose picture is doesn't appear fully on the mobile device, and that's a place you're going to want to look at, including also, of course, the vehicle links with those, and then also your general information links. So any of those items that pertain to the content that you can edit within Fleet Commander that is HTML based codes, those things that are found with enterprise layouts, site level layouts. That's going to be what we're talking about today, things that need to be updated within your site. One I want to particularly call out because there is a change in regards to what you find in regards when you go to configure enterprise layouts or configure site settings layouts. That list has changed a little bit as a result of the way that we have structured the user experience now. And so make reservations is one I want you to kind of key in on. And I do have this as part of the items on the punch lists that is at the end of this presentation deck. But you'll see that we that with the make reservation process, we've now divided it into 4 clear steps. And within each of those steps, there is content that can be edited that lie outside of the reservation form itself and its custom fields that you may be leveraging on that. Part of it is there, one for the site driver, step 1. You can put in content. This right here is an example of what I have put into the templates for that. This is what it looks like there. You can see that it contains information about logging in, as well as information regarding what usage types are. This used to be actually something that was in 2 different sections within the reservation process. It was step 1 and then step 2, and there was 2 distinct screens. And as such, that information, that custom information, found its place in 2 different places within the enterprise settings layout screen. Now, however, this is all just one set of content, as is illustrated there with the make reservation step 1 driver and site help text on that. I mentioned this because what we've noticed with a few of our clients is that they did not make a distinction between the original step 1 page and the original step 2 page, and the content that they placed within that custom area was identical. And as part of this phasing into the new UI, what our team did is because those 2 fields are not combined into the one, they thought, you know what, we need to combine the instructions into this one page. And there's duplications. It's like the top section says one thing, and the bottom section of that dividing line here says the exact same thing. So when you go and you start making reservations, you're going, why does it say the same thing twice? It's because originally that's how it was set up, with the 2 distinct steps, the original step 1, and then the original step 2. And so this is one of those key ones I think that you want to take a look at, so it looks good, it looks clean on there. In addition to that, then with the new step 1, which is where you capture your schedule and your vehicles, there's custom material that's there. But at this point, you've already moved into the site setting configurations on that. So to make changes to what is the new step 2, you're going to want it to go to configure site settings, and then click on the schedule and vehicles help text on there. And then the logic would go, you continue on, and you have the next step 3. That one is help text that you can place within here. You'll notice there's nothing here. This is an example. If you choose not to leverage these custom fields, this is what it looks like. It's just blank there at the top on that. And then for the step 3 also has a text that is down at the bottom. It is for your comments section. So you've got really for step 3 you have 2 different areas that you can put in custom content outside of, beyond the content that you have with your custom fields. And then finally, step 4 is the final portion of the review and submit. There is custom information that can be used there. And just one thing in regards to this image that you see here, most of y'all are not going to see that because the majority of the templates that we have created for you do not have this on there. This is really what we're using for brand new clients. When they're just starting out, their sites are going to be set up where this is visible and it's clickable, and it takes them to site setting or enterprise level layouts to make changes. So I think there may be 1 or 2 that of the templates that have this on there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in regards to those if you run into something like this specifically, what you can do using AI to help it remove it out of your text, out of your code. All right, we're at 2:30. So let's talk about some tips about using AI on that. Ultimately, what's happened is that your new Fleet Commander pages, you have the ability to, as in the past, to accept your own custom HTML. The thing is that the old HTML was not written with the idea of mobile devices, and the new UI is set up to be mobile friendly. And so those layouts, those old custom content need to be updated so that they appear and adapt cleanly to phones and tablets. The easy part of that, you don't really need to have any coding or prompt writing experience if you're able to leverage AI on that. For those of you that aren't unable to access AI, don't feel comfortable with that, we do have some ways to assist you on that in that situation. Um, but basically, 3 steps. You copy your page's current HTML out of Fleet Commander. You paste it into the AI assistant with a prompt, and we do have that prompt available for you. And also, we can copy, and then you copy that response back into Fleet Commander and save the changes. What that looks like in the basic steps on that, and I will show this in the demo, is that you copy your current HTML out of Fleet Commander. You do that by going to the appropriate section within Fleet Commander, within configuration. In this case, we're looking at the header text, and that would be under configuration, enterprise settings, layouts. You go in, you click on the to grab the code as was illustrated in the previous screen with that purple arrow. It then pulls up the code. You highlight that and you copy it. Again, that's under configure, enterprise settings, layouts. You then go to the AI of your choice. I've tried putting in code through Claude, which is what we as Fleet Commander are licensed as Agile Fleet are licensed to use. Also, I've tried Copilot and ChatGPT. The results are pretty much the same. There's a little bit of difference, but it's not anything that is critical on there. And then what you do is that with that code, you drop it into that AI assistant, and then you take the prompt that is there here on the screen. You take this type of prompt. This is a really good prompt. Alexis, who wrote this prompt, it's great. It's a lot better than what I was using before I discovered this. And put it in there, and this will tell your AI, a very specific, you know, instructions. It helps protect your content the way it's written. It's easy and safe to paste it back into Fleet Commander because there's nothing, no separations or style sheet variances or anything like that. And you can use that and refine it and go back and forth on that. So with that return, you copy that from AI, you then paste it into Fleet Commander where you got your original code, and then hit save changes on that. Now, it is important that for you to, on some cases, not all of them, to go and log out and log back in to see the changes. So if you don't see it at first and you hit save, just log out, log back in. It should be there on that. One thing I want to also throw into here is a term for you to know is scalable vector graphics. This is something that we have not used previously, to my knowledge, in regards to the code and the custom content with the HTML code. It could have been used, we just never did. And with the new UI, I noticed that our dev team, when they created some of the cool fancy images that are in Fleet Commander now, in some of the custom pages, it's using the scalable vector graphics, which is called SVG. Short of the matter is that there may be situations like that. Did you know this area is customizable graphic? And also a few standard icons that are in the Contact Us section that are making use of this particular coding. It's a lot of code. It is massive and it's pretty confusing looking, and it impacts your ability to easily take or get rid of those specific images out of your page. It's not going to be a real big problem. I don't believe, because you can easily through AI just say, hey, remove the SVG from the top of this page, and it returns the code on there. But I'll show you in just a moment as we get into our live demo on what I'm talking about. But that's scalable vector graphics are scalable, they're searchable, indexable, there's compatibility on it. That makes them very useful, which is why I understand we end up leveraging those. So, all right, so now it's time for our live demo. And this is also me working without a net. So anything can happen and might happen on that. Hopefully we don't run into problems, but everybody go ahead and hold on tight to your toothbrushes, because we're going to jump into using our site, and let me demo some of the stuff that we do. Like I said, hopefully it's a demonstration and not a demolition that we're about to happen here. So I'm going to pull into here our training site, which, by the way, y'all, you might find it interesting when I showed you the picture in regards to the instructions page that had not been updated yet. That was not a client's page. That was actually our training site. As you can see here, there's still some ASP codes there on the bottom left that we had not updated, which makes this really awesome for what we're doing today. So I'm just going to quickly remind you, because it is so important, that if you are coming across any of these codes that are still .asp, like these bottom ones are, those need to be updated. Otherwise, you're going to run into this situation right there. You're not really logged out. If you back up, you're back into it, but it does cause problems. We did update this one up here for the new request before I got my hands on the training site. So it goes to where it's anticipated on there. But where you would go, as a reminder, specifically for instructions, would be under Configure, Enterprise, and then you would end up going to Layouts on there, and then you would go down to Instructions. A friendly reminder, if you have problems reading this entire section here, if you use a Control F for find and you type in vehicle or instructions, you will end up finding it a lot easier. So that's the one we want to look at right there. So you scroll down, you go down here, and you can see that whenever you actually highlight the rates and click on the insert hyperlink, it's still to that .asp link on there. And that's what's causing the problem. That's what's causing it to go to the sign in page, making it seem like it's something that is broken or something. Well, it is broken. It's just it hadn't been updated. So what you would end up doing is, for your vehicles and rates, in that Workshop Wednesday I referenced for a year ago, we've got a checklist of all of the paths that can be thrown into here. And for vehicles and rates, that particular one would end up being this right here. And if I insert that link like that and hit Save Changes, it should be, when I come back here, that's my vehicles and rates page. That's not what I meant to do. What I want to do is go back to my instructions, and when I click on vehicles and rates, it takes me to where, as if I had clicked on here. So that was the next successful change. I'm on that. So you can do that. Or you could, if you wanted to, and rather than going through here and making changes to that, you could leverage the codes that we have for the on our FC drive on that. I'm actually going to do that for our welcome page. You remember we saw this earlier. It looks really nice here, looks fine. But what you end up doing is, when you do that Control Shift I, it pulls up the development tools on there. And you can see that right now this is on a pixels of 723 to 664. And what it will end up doing is that I can come in here and come down to the phone type that I have, which is the Galaxy Samsung S25. And when I do that, and this is this area that if I was looking at my phone right now, is what it would look like. And when I get rid of the screen there, I already had updated this one. That's not what I meant to do. So, so that this looks good. But previously, as I illustrated, this section right here was spanning across, just like that client site where I showed you that the vehicle was not appearing. So this code is what got corrected by AI, and it looks right on there. So let's do, I'm still in, this looks fine on there, but let's look at a couple of other of these here. We've got, well, let's look at the vehicles and rates. This one right here. You see, it looks at first looked okay, but then you get down here and you see there's a bunch of text that's missing, and you've got to actually push off, to see the right-hand side. So with this, let's go ahead and update that and see what it looks like with the information from template, the template files that we've saved for you on FC Drive. So I'm going to pull up, let's just go to FC Drive from here. I've got it saved. You should save it too if you have it, because FC Drive is great. It's great resources on there. You can see here the new look is the section that we have for this. And when we scroll down, you can see that we have vehicle rates page right here. So I'm going to open that up. This is my code. I'm going to copy it right here. And I'm going to go to open up my burger, go to configure enterprise settings, go to my layouts, go to vehicles and rates is right there. And I'm going to paste that in here. But before I do, I recommend that you always save the code that you have in here before you do anything, because in doing so, if you have any problems, you can back into it. I go into something like Notepad, open. I wanted to do a save, a new. Yeah, let me close that dialog box. New. And I'm going to take this is the code that I copied off of the template. And I'm going to open another one here just so I have the ability to grab this there. Let's see here, the same syntax. Yeah, I'm going to do that right there. Okay, and so at this point, I'm going to take my code, my new code, because I have pulled over into Notepad all the code that was the old code, and I've saved it for a backup. And now I'm going to put into my new code here, and I could just delete this. Yep, all that. You see there's a lot of code, and this is not even using those SVGs on that. I got that there. Dropping my code. This should be my new code. It is. You see there. Save my changes. I go back to vehicles and rates, and this is what it looks like whenever I pulled out the new template from off of FC Drive. It looks good. whenever I go ahead and do my developer mode with the Control-Shift-I, and I go into back to the Galaxy one, what you see here is whereas everything for text that went off the screen had to be scrolled, here it's written so only the table has to be scrolled, and that was on purpose. Otherwise, the table gets really, really small. But if we had all that bunch of text that I had previously, here on the bottom, it would also be set up so that it doesn't move, just like there at the top is not moving. You can see how it's stable here at the top. So that's using and updating using the code that we provide to you. What about if you really, really, really liked that old code and what you had, and you just want to update it? What we would do in that situation is go ahead and you would take that code, which I have copied over and saved. Remember, I said I had a purpose for keeping that. And you would end up going to the AI of your choice. And like I said, this is this is Claude, but there's lots of ones that you could use. I mean, we named several of these that I have listed here, but there's also Gronk and Perplexity and DeepSeek. I don't know those things, but use what you want. Drop in, and you can see here that it's actually put it in as a bundle, which makes it really nice whenever I go to where I've saved my notes, the prompt that we have shared. And this, I just set this up in my OneNotes, and I drop it in there. I have HTML content from our fleet reservation system. Please rewrite it to be fully responsive so it looks good on phones, tablets, and also on desktops. Keep all of my text links and images exactly the same and write it, etc., etc., etc. So here is my code. I hit that, and it'll just take a little bit for it to generate. It sometimes takes about 30 seconds to a minute I've seen before on that. This one is going to take a little bit, and so while it's rendering on that, I'm going to go ahead and pull back to our happy little guy here with his toothbrushes, and we're going to talk a little bit more in regards to some of the things that we have here with that. Again, I showed this to you earlier. It's the on FC Drive, we have a dedicated section called the new look, where we have videos. I'm sure this video will be posted on there. Last month's video was posted on there. And in addition to that, we also have, as we showed there, those resources for the layout templates. So if you're interested in using that, go to FC Drive, go to new look, and you can end up finding that information. So while we were talking, Claude did the work for us. And this is what it suggests if you are using that old text and information. So I'm just simply, it gives me some reasons why I did it, or it talks about things being removed and added and wraps and all that. That's all great. I don't really care at the moment. I just want the code. So I'll do my copy on here. And then I'm going to go back to our site, which is right here. And I'm going to change this again. So I'm going again to configure enterprise settings, go to layouts, you can go to vehicle rates. And this time I'm not going to capture that, but I'm just curious to see what happens when we use the code that was suggested based upon our original code that was in there, rather than using a template. So then we see here, this is what ends up, it shows. Let's hit save changes and see how well this actually works. So we're going to go to vehicle rates. I'm going to update this, and let's do Control-Shift-I there. So it's all there now, and we don't have to scroll it. We only have to scroll hardly any. So that's how quickly you can take your old current code, use that prompt, it will just reformat it for you. So The advantage to that, you still have all the information that you had without having to, and it's in place. It's just now rendered to be responsive. What it does, though, it still kind of is a free for all potentially in regards to branding and colors and things like that. If you're concerned about that, then you can make use of the templates that we gave you. The thing with the templates, however, is exactly that. It's a template. So you will need to go in and put in your rates, your vehicle types, your contact information, things like that. What I haven't tried yet, and I'll leave this up to you, but I'm pretty sure AI could do this, is you could do some cross-referencing potentially on that, where it takes the core information like vehicle rates from your current code and places it into the new template. You'll have to play around with that. You may have to get on to AI for a couple of times because it's not doing what you want it to do. But if you work through it, like I've done with a lot of this, you'll end up discovering where it's at and discovering how to make it work. So yeah, so we've got that.
Something that I would want to interject really quick on that, if you guys are going to play with it, something I've noticed, the different platforms don't work well with logos. So if you're trying to put your logos into the different platforms, sometimes there's some challenges there. So think about that.
Yeah. Yes. So a few things that, and as I close out on my portion here, there on SC Drive, we do have a neat feature now too, a new chatbot assistance. It's there on the bottom right of the page. You click on that and you can actually end up engaging with AI to answer some of the questions in a self-help fashion. It's in a beta testing as of right now. We're going to be expanding this out beyond just things of motor pool and general FAQs to the maintenance module to fuel modules, things like that. And definitely give us your feedback on how you think that works. It does not replace our support staff. It's just a way for you to have 24/7 answers if you need them at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then also here, I do have a punch list for you. Remember, there's our two main sections for you to go into, are the enterprise and the site settings layouts. Go through them, kind of check each of these. These are ones that are the main ones I think that you might want to take a look at on that. And same with the layout settings with steps 2, 3, and 4 that make reservation process. And so the last thing I want to say, if you are running into issues you need, or you don't have AI, you don't have the means to make these changes, please reach out to FC support. We'll coordinate some assistance with you on that. One of the things Kristen had mentioned prior is to the meeting was that if you have links or navigations you just simply don't use, there's no reason for you to have a privacy statement or a terms of use. Let us know and FC support can get those removed. That's something that would require assistance on that from our side. So with that being said, let's wrap up.
Awesome. Thank you, John, so much for going through all that content for us. I think it's very helpful information for helping our clients work through updating those layouts, especially as we introduce the new website layout for them. So just some reminders as we wrap up for this. Our workshop Wednesdays are on a monthly cadence. Quarterly, we'll review best practices, partner spotlights, product updates, and release highlights. As a reminder, they're on the third Wednesday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So the next one will be August. I didn't put the date on here. I think it's, what is it, Brian? Is it like the 15th or the 19th? See, I knew Brian would know. He always knows. So the next one is August 19th, and it is going to be a partner spotlight. So we'll be talking about some best practices and really cool stuff that some of our clients are doing in the state and local sector. Also with the workshop Wednesdays, we've got, and John had had mentioned it several times in the pounded it home in the content today, but we do have our workshop Wednesday playlist where all of the previously recorded workshops Wednesdays are located, and we have the QR code here for you for that link for the previously recorded sessions. With that, that's a wrap. That's our content for today. We do have our last QR code on here for your feedback. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick minute to scan that QR code, give us your feedback and let us know what you think about the Workshop Wednesdays. And if you have recommendations for content, you guys are the ones that help make this productive and useful for all of you. So wonderful speaking with you again. Thank you again, John. And we'll
John.
follow up with a few of you guys that had questions during the session as well. Okay.
May I add one more thing? And I just remembered this, and I think there's something in the chat that kind of made me think about this, is that this is still a work in progress, y'all. This right here, this bookmark right here is important for you to be familiar with. That means that this page is set in the way that it is intended to be functioning as the user experience going forward. If you come across any pages that does not have that on there, like for example, right now the dashboard does not have that on there. Things like the manage pages, like manage reservations, does not have that bookmark on it. But those are pages that we're still working on. And so things are going to be a little bit off potentially on that until we get those cleaned up and all. But you'll end up seeing those changes. And anytime that particular that bookmark is present, that means that we're done with that phase of the project. So just want to make sure everybody was aware of that.
Yeah, and just remember that we are doing this in phases. So the first phase was the end user content, and then we will be working on the administrator functions, kind of as John just alluded to with the different spots he jumped into. The administrator functions will be the ones that get edited in the future phases. Awesome.
One more thing to add there too, just on your bookmarks comment, John. So if you are to click those bookmarks when you're in these pages, as they are available, those pages will then show up in your quick links. So if you have a page that you're navigating to regularly, if you bookmark it, then you'll be able to get to it much quicker just by accessing it through the quick links. So just wanted to drop that little tip as well in case y'all have forgot.
And that's Brian's tip for the day. He showed that to me. I didn't know it, and I forgot to mention it. So thank you, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Content will be rendered and then shared with everybody who registered in the next few days. Make sure that you click on the link to register for the next session so that you stay on our list for receiving these meeting messages. Thank you again, and we'll follow up with everybody who sent us the questions.
Thank y'all.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.